That is when
they find that's easy on the eye, and the sort of picking up from where they left off really. In the first game, in the Prem, they've clearly grown very comfortable at.
even better is that from each day the intensity is slightly higher than they played against Mauritius in that first game.
Now, good work to win it back here and keep it alive for Lesotho. They were hoping for a set piece. Nothing wrong with the physicality in the challenge then. All happening so fast, both sides are struggling to hold on to it. Throw into Lesotho. Speed really is key for Lesotho in those attacking areas out wide.
But again, look at that defensive line. Look at this gap here in your picture.
I mean, on the left of your picture.
This is how are you going to close the action there? Should the Mozambique pick up both position and start attacking? You'll be found wanting. The space in between the midfielders and the last line is just too far wide.
Not 20 minutes gone by here. Sorry, Chongwe. Goal line at 0-0. Both sides have created chances. Very even game here between Mozambique and Lesotho.
Talking about distances, very important in football. Talking that different lines that you get into the game, the pockets of spaces that can be used by the opposition. All depends on just how those distances are kept.
Mozambique, the only side with shots on target thus far. There's an offside call here against Tabansu. It's interesting watching him play with Fotwani just behind him in the opening match. They've gone with Berlin this time around. The experienced campaigner, of course, both as an international and just his all-round career. Berlin has been around the block and then some. Fotwani is someone who can come in off the bench and offer something a little bit different in what lies behind Tabansu's creativity and attacking intent as well.
What I'm not sure of about Bereng is just what his conditioning is. I mean, there was a season that I don't think he played much, and as a result, that's why last season he didn't feature in the Lesotho side in the national team.
Remember him down in Toronto as part of the last Leopard side. I think they played in the top flight of South African football. Exciting side it was. It's always an exciting time when you make the trips down to the north of South Africa, but being part of that team.
Rocco Swallows. So it's been around.
Space on the near side. Danito. So often players in this match have looked to take the ball at full pace, and just missing it by an inch or a little stumble at the last moment means that they lose out on the chance to maybe break the lines if they can take it in their stride. But it's a point you touched on a little bit earlier where they're trying to get onto it at full tilt, and if they get it right, there could be problems for the defenders.
But often, more than not, is that that wobble effect comes into action.
So many things contribute towards that. The slight misdirection of the pass leads to that wobble effect. Overrunning it just a bit as the runner.
Listen.
A little nudge from the defender. When you're moving at that pace,
anything at high speed, every now and then will wobble. takes the slightest hump.
Well, there's a man that's down here, just outside of the box, and that's, I believe, what Annie is pointing towards here, and the reason for that is Melke is getting a huge talking to here from the referee from Malawi, because while we had our eyes on the keeper picking the ball up, just in front of the keeper, the contact was enough to send Mkwanazi to ground, but nothing too serious. He'll be able to continue. Just in case the change was necessary, they are already at Tepo Tolwani warming up. Mkwanazi? Yes, we are in the kingdom of the Zulu, but this particular Mkwanazi is very much here representing the nation of Lesotho.
What's the whole point?
If you look into his family tree, you might find it stretches as far as this part of the world, but he originating from Lesotho and very much from Lesotho. Also, when you look at his first name, it helps seal the deal. Motumelo, very Sotho name, although it's a very Zulu sounding surname. Get me?
Well, just say it. Sounds so much more Swazi.
And we're going to go back and start arguing Dlamini and the origins of Dlamini, so let's just end it right there, Sean.
Don't set yourself up for disaster, because you mentioned another surname that is clearly.
Oh, really? Right, for the sake of the argument, let's say Mkwanazi could be from this region. It also could be from a different kingdom altogether, right?
Say the kingdom.
That's what the...
Yes. And even if the problem here, Marvin.
And just go up to them and have a chat.
Donkey.
By the time breakfast is over, William is friends with everybody at breakfast.
It's the only time I can be resourceful and meet some of these guys. You'll be amazed at just some of the information that you can pick up from down there.
Yep, it's our duty. It's tug of war with this particular Mkwanazi. Which kingdom does he belong to? Half an hour, just a... So, you're right. It's the traveling bunch from Lesotho that have braved the conditions here in Durban and come down to KwaMashu to get behind the team. Last time they did this, Lesotho went on to win. And the winds, of course, and the cold conditions, being from Lesotho, they won't be strangers to cold conditions. We're talking about snow in South Africa, and, well, snow to them, well, anything but a chicken wing.
It's the middle of summer for them. I'm sure they're looking around them. It's like, what's all these people wearing jackets and jerseys? What's wrong with them? Are they sick?
Where is everybody? Why didn't they come out to the stadium, you know? Type thing. Keep in mind, the tickets are free for those of you that are around the area and can get to KwaMashu. There's football to be played over the next few days here that will be quite crucial. The intensity of the games will increase as well. So we conclude the group stages and move on to the semi-finals and finals. Funny how these tournaments start, and it seems the finish line is so far away in the beginning because we've got so many matches to get through. Midway through the tournament, you start seeing the finish line, and it seems it comes quicker than you imagined. We're already at the end of the group stage. The semi-finals are waiting us in a couple of days' time. Or just over that.
And we're still here.
Yep. Now, ball in, and there was a touch on the far side that wasn't all too convincing, but encouraging for Lesotho that they were able to get the touch off the set piece. Again, when you look at the top goal scorers of all time, Seda, who scored in the first match, now is on 3 goals coming.
It's where put ball in between to find the
games in what was their life 2008. 13 games stretched, William without a win. 8 years for Lesotho in the COSAFA Cup, that is. Longest unbeaten run, 8 games. Practice patch, the greenest patch in games where no one could get the better of them. Keep in mind the times you do lose through penalties, but officially it goes down as a draw, since it ended as a draw officially.
Take it into account, Sizmo Ben. So every now and then a country decides to go through the rebuilding stage, and this is when they bring in a very youthful side to compete at this level, with intentions to give them a chance to grow and get the necessary experience to compete. You don't quite tell with that decisions going forward. Xavier, something like that.
Yep. Well, they've had their moments. And it's that man Mukashani that pops up again to find the back of the net. He's second of the tournament.
It's a good goal, but the movement before the goal was scored was his anticipation where the ball is more likely to land. He didn't stay on the wide side, on the right. He attacked the box, and that ball landed to him perfectly. And an easy goal it was, but he rang so constant at the legs, but he has the brilliance.
And it's in the game against Vicious. Terribly impressive. And a staying Portugal defender as well that
he begged for at least 2 players from every team to be able to put together, and it was agreed. And it came with the benefit of developing these players into the future, and he got that. And so at that stage, nobody expected much because of
coach of Mozambique in January 2016, Shongwa. So that's the period in question when Beak, of course, well, as the quarterfinals.
The unknowns and young players from all around the country.
Vamos checando. Muito obrigado.
Yes, hit it well! Choosing not to hold on.
I kind of like expected that will be a bullet, which is why we're running.
Tell you what, either side of him, and he may have. Action, forcing the beacons back as well.
It's very important and launch it back. You serve yourself the
in the background you are hearing someone chatting away. It's not from the Lesotho bench, in fact it's the Lesotho goalkeeper who's throwing out instructions at his side as to what's happening on the left, on the right, behind that defense. You'd think that's coming from maybe the benches. No, the whole time it's the goalkeeper. Well done. Oh, the header's gone just wide. Dario, I believe, to dive into the header. Oh, it's a quality attack this from the Mozambicans. Lovely ball. Defender may just. That's good work to win it back in a great area then. Too quick.
People, friends, we are going to rush 200 likes, please. 200 likes, please. And subscribe it. Subscribe and leave a like. Subscribe, people. Vamos a llegar a 1000 inscritos. Todos los días tenemos jogos ao vivo. Muito obrigado.
Well, the rain has started to come down here, and it's not falling straight down. You can see with the wind, the effect the wind is having on the.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado, Almirante. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing this channel.
We started this first half to the way we ended, but we ended most importantly with Lesotho taking the lead into the halftime break here. A well-created and in the end well-taken chance sees Lesotho through. Mokashani leading by just the 1-0 here, and Mozambique, to their credit, haven't given up on the fight here. They've given almost as good as they've gotten when they've looked good for a chance at goal. When as I stood between them and the back of the net, it's a good contest. It's a great contest. Oh no, it's been a thoroughly entertaining day where we had a great match earlier on. We got another great match right now in a Group C as the scramble for places continues. At halftime, it's Lesotho leading Mozambique with a scoreline of 1-0.
Bala out. Ahí la mouse. Chivatalín. Lucrecio. Manuel Ignacio. Ligado. Diagonía TT. Raúl Machiacer. Raúl Machier. The City Channel. Suscriban ao vivo. We are going to reach 300 likes. Vamos a llegar a 1000. Obrigado. Faruque Joaquín Prese. Crisaldo. CRC ligado. Vamos a cobrar Mambas 3-1. Raúl Machiese. Estamos juntos, Mambas.
Mozambique were the first to get onto the front foot. That's a good save. Could so easily have fallen into the path of a Mozambican player, but solid stuff then from Mwerani. And immediately after this, Lesotho went on an attack of their own, but at a moment of threat from the Mozambicans. Now, they're involved. And how's this for a header? Flies just over. And Estabantu looking to score his 6th goal for Lesotho.
Muito obrigado, Salamao.
Bering, Mokashani, Tabantu. Now, keep in mind, those names will play a huge role in the goal that is to come a little bit later on. Mokashani, Bering, lovely movement here. And the ball across finds Mokashani at hand to tap the zone at Bering from Lesotho. It's beautifully done. Gets the assist whilst Mokashani gets the easy tap in. Beautifully done by Lesotho. Then late in the half, nice 1-2 on the far side here. And the Mozambicans, they get to the byline, the ball in. Header, just wide. They were looking for the great ending to the first half then, and it's Dario who's a header, goes wide of the mark. And while Mozambique will go into the half-time break trailing, unable to find that all-important equalizer. Oh, there you have it then. It's a tight affair here, with Mozambique only having 2 more shots on target than Lesotho, and not too much more in the way of ball possession over Lesotho. Mozambique will feel they are still very much.
With me is Mr. Kiba Mohanyane, who is the... Mr. Kiba, you must be very happy with the proceedings of the tournament so far in terms of the referees' performances.
Absolutely. You know, the referees are doing
that of refereeing.
Taken through the process in their respective country, the referees manager. Now,
some of the best referees in the region, their places.
That is what we are focusing on. You know, I mean, development. Development is key to us. Yes, of course, most of our old referees are now retiring, like you are saying, but development is there to replace those that are retiring. So it's not a challenge for us.
So alongside Felix, so who else, because I'm looking at him as well, how long is he going to continue to do this job? And is there enough in as far as other referees that you look at to help develop the referees?
My brother, the baton will never get lost. Felix is doing everything in his power to get people around him from all over the region so that they should be there when he is no longer, able. So that everybody should be in the know-how of what Felix has been doing all along.
I think for me, all I can say is congratulations to COSAFA, because sometimes the focus is on the field of play, and yet there's so much happening outside of the field of play as far as the preparation of the referees.
True. You'll agree with me that COSAFA in recent years has become a breeding ground for the continent and, of course, for the world. FIFA and CAF now feature mostly.
Much for your time and all the best.
You're welcome, my brother. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, they're enjoying the football here. They should be. It's good quality football that's on show in cold weather as we look forward to the second half on the other side of this. It's Lesotho that lead Mozambique by a scoreline of just 1-0 here as we get ready for the second half and get ready to round off the second round of matches ahead of the very last round of Group C, which will be in a few days' time here. Lesotho looking to maintain their 100% win record. They scored the goal that matters so far. Can they, at the very least, deny the men in your picture, the men in red and black, from finding one goal here and leveling matches, or is it to be a huge comeback?
Lembrese que mañana teremos as 2 partidas simultaneamente no canal. Amigos, se inscrevan. DEIXE online, obrigado, muito obrigado.
So chances created by both these nations, great chances of course, and a superb first half of football where they're both getting at each other. What we are hoping for is more of the same, please, here at the second half as they start the second half the way they started the first, meaning no changes have been made to the starting.
Martini, the coach, will have said quite a few words in trying to inspire these players to see if they can get something worse off that they're trailing.
I don't know if you noticed that ball was played in then again. We talked about the rain and the wind being a huge factor. Mozambique up against the wind. That ball played in then was held up in the sky for Murani to have a comfortable pickup. So the men in blue and white now going onto the front foot have the wind at their backs. And as you can see, that ball played into the far side. Very nearly running out of play then. Good pace to keep it alive even with the aid of the wind.
It's bucketing down again. And so I'm sure these 2 teams will now struggle with the conditions in the field, with the ball skidding, with passes misplaced, which can lead easily into mistakes.
Good game of football this show in the first half. So enjoyable. With the way they went about business, you could tell Mozambique came to play. Same can be said for Lesotho. Both sides believing in their way.
But you gotta appreciate the disciplines defensively by both sides up until that moment when Lesotho found the opening. Speed of attack was key in that case, because it didn't give much of a time or chance for Mozambique to be able to get the numbers defensively to defend.
Pull over to that left side with Danito. Supported by the likes of Dagio. Of course, the next goal so crucial in this match. We say that a lot as commentators, but it is the absolute truth when you consider how it could just completely take the game away from Mozambique or bring them back into it, including the momentum it might give them to go on and look for a winner. Key example is Eswatini against Namibia. Namibia leading 1-0. Eswatini finally equalized. Within 5 minutes, have ridden enough of a wave to go on and find what's the winning goal. So much goes with that win. But if it's Lesotho they get the 2-goal cushion. May very well knock the fight out of Mozambique. If it's Mozambique that get it, could start the fight back.
Now, my only concern about Lesotho is that when you look at how Mozambique played, in their first game in particular, that even though they were trailing, they didn't give up. They continued to push the longest before they could break the ice. And that's the same attitude that they bring into this game. The call from the goalkeeper is Sheba Ball. You know, after a foul, you've got to turn around and be able to face what, even if you're still recovering to your positions, but keep your eyes on the ball.
Impressed, Ramon.
With what?
The fact that you understood that.
This is my banner. I'm over 30-something years in this country, please.
Throughout our travels, you're comfortable where it's the Guni speaking languages, you know, when in Natal you're comfortable, when we are in the Cape you're comfortable. Whenever we're in Bloemfontein, I've never heard you flex your, whenever we're in like Rustenburg or the Northwest, I've never heard you flex any of those languages. So the fact that you understand come from a seriously like honest place.
Thank you.
That I'm impressed. I'm thinking all these years I've been talking about you behind your back, thinking you don't understand when I'm speaking Sotho. That means you knew exactly that. Then I think of the people you played alongside, different languages. I mean, once you spend any time in Panyani, you have to understand a bit of Sotho.
No. That one is talking too deep.
Yeah.
It was my beginning stages of being in this country. I didn't hear words.
Good pressing from the front.
But what this for me is still a concern.
Down William Chongwe. There's a huge gap. That's where you have strikers for the Mozambican defense discomfort caused, but they were able to deal with it. Again, that pace from Lesotho out wide causing problems.
Another
coming in. Shot from range. Will the flag go up? The answer is yes. Offside. The man in your picture, being Mokashani. He one of 2 players that have scored 2 goals so far in this year's championships. Strange effect with the rain. Can't quite see it from the angle we're showing it to you. It is falling down, that's the thing. It's not necessarily falling down because of the wind and the strength of the wind. It's almost falling sideways.
And that's the type of rain or drops that gets into your eyes.
Yeah. Well, out of play on the far side. Only time I've seen it to this effect was a couple of Decembers ago in Lesotho, funny enough, for the Region 5 games. Where, now, man down, the injured party will get the help he needs. Stay focused, keep your mind on the prize at hand, and that's leadership.
That's leadership, exactly.
That's leadership.
Because you know what, when you get yourself engaged in matters of this nature, it doesn't help you lose focus instead. You start focusing on the wrong things, and yet you get a game to play. That's what the runner is trying to do here.
You know where he kills me? He pulls his teammates back. When they all go back, then he'll sneak over to the opponents and then throw a word and say, and then go back to his teammates and say, no, keep away from them, keep away from them. In the end, he's lost interest. He's gone back to his goalkeeping position. Let's come back again. My chance. We've got a game to win. No point getting in the arguments. Don't get drawn into it. Look at him. Still giving them a pep talk here. Not that he's not concerned about the teammate that's injured, but that there is nothing they can do about it, except let the medical department deal with that. They can't let the emotions get the better of them either. In a game where there's still so much football to be played, love to see that from the goalkeeper. Now outside of your picture, he's made his way back to his goal. He had come a long way to get involved in all of that.
It's changed. He's only trying to get himself warm by running all the way to the center. He's clever. That's bucketing down. I mean, he went really tight with rain. It can be very cold.
Signal to the bench. I think it's to say, look, we'll be able to carry on here. They won't need to make the change. I'm not too sure if I read that right. Closing down from the front, late challenge. That's great attacking play, just in chasing everything and forcing the mistake that.
On the borderline of the 18 yards area.
Left to right, the effects of the rain. Lutu's here now playing, and here we are. Extremely cold in the Lesotho. Extremely cold. Unbelievably cold. And it was raining, it was this sort of rain. That was, you can't ask for more than that.
No.
You can't.
The anticipation was there, but I think was that the defender who was just only a second late to connect with the cross. He was there, he ran for it, made an effort to get there.
Oh, you can't,
but not quick enough.
Ask for more than that. Keeper can't come for it. Wow, with the quality ball in. At the end of that tour, the entire team was sick in Lesotho. Such were the conditions in December. Similar to this today.
But obviously now you got the cover of the commentary box.
I had it then. In fact, we're covering the COSAFA under 17s then, by the way, Willie. Zambian ladies in that tournament a couple of years ago in Lesotho, unbelievable. The Zambian youngsters, unbelievable, including the Mozambican team that was out there. The under 17 team that then got the promotion to the under 20s that I saw in action last year at the end of the year in Eswatini. Both sets of youngsters that had moved up from that under 17 team that was in action in Lesotho. Slightly grown, more grown now, younger men rather than being boys. And I'll tell you what, Mozambique is working on a few good players. Same can be said for Zambia, not just from a boys' point of view, but a ladies as well. Again, one has to give credit to COSAFA in the way of developing the game now, reaching out to kids as young as 15 and younger, competing at this COSAFA level as the keeper picks up comfortably. These, of course, the results of all of the work that's put in at ground level when we come to the senior challenge, Shongwe. But you spoke earlier to one of the coaches that also is part of the traveling batch of coaches that go to all of these different tournaments, including the schools championships, which were in Malawi at the end of last year, rating the new trends in how we play, and Sweetness, whom we spoke to at halftime, had the joy of being around her and learning from her and what the coaches are looking for, what the teams, what the trends are in Southern Africa. It's so much work, including the media teams, that COSAFA, of course, puts into it. It's so easy to think it's just football.
Yep.
But there's journals that come from Mozambique, from Zambia, and we're all one big family in exchanging thoughts and knowledge on all of the nations and so on.
Maybe I was able to attend an under-17 tournament in Mozambique, where I met some of the other juniors from other national teams, and who grew to play for the senior team. I'm talking Jafet Mparutse, the short cat of Zimbabwe, and I'm talking Aristides Azaza of Mozambique, who later came to South Africa and played for 56 Stars. I mean, just at least Sterling Dundumo, may soul rest in peace, was a part of that team from Zimbabwe. I mean, it was an honor to later see these guys playing for the national teams and meeting again in the same field at a higher level. So these junior national teams just opens up the space and the view and the inspiration to continue to apply your trade and to a high level. Who knows what can happen?
Reminds me of a conversation I had with International Ngomasha some years ago, where I asked him who's the toughest player he ever played against. Before he answered the question, he said, no, but you must understand, the first time I played this guy, I was a kid as a junior international. And then we ended up playing seniors together against each other as internationals, but then ended up in the same team. So I said, who is it? He said, no, Tabupule or Mahlangu. But he said he knew of him as a junior international and already feared him then as a junior international. Changes being made here. It's a Decavallo that will come on here as Mozambique. Well, need to find a way back into this match. Over an hour played.
He plays in the forward line, sometimes right at the top of the formation. And yes, they need a goal. They need a player like him. Mozambique, unfortunately, with all the ability that they do have, they unfortunately are playing in patches. The intensity levels, sometimes they drop for a team that is trailing. You want to see a little bit more, and sometimes they even lose the constructional passes into that thing there. Sometimes they look so ordinary that they play long passing in the hope of catching the front lines. The game is build-up play with intensity.
Yep. Actually, funny you say that, and that's when they have looked good and they maintained it for most of the first half, that intensity and that level that you're speaking of. Going into the second, approaching the hour, where is it safe to say, Shongwe, it hasn't quite happened at the level at which it was for the most part in the first half. But the game has dropped a bit, tempo and otherwise. In
comparison to the first game, whereby they were able to maintain it. That's why Angola eventually broke down.
Yep. It's bucketing down now. If it was raining hard earlier, it's really coming down now. Falling, keepers will need to be extra careful with the amount of rain that's coming down now. Players as well coming in for the challenges will need to be careful. A few of them being put to sleep nice and easy.
Only to deliver a harmless ball. That was Mesha, the right fullback. He likes to go forward. Very experienced. I've seen him a number of times in this competition.
Space to turn into here. And running into trouble having the lead on their side. They sort of won't mind the game losing its temper every now and then. What they will want to do is get together 1 or 2 attacks that will be a proper menace, using their speed out in the wide areas. Now, ball in. Not cleared properly. Could be problems here for Mozambique. And, well, creating their own problems at times.
In not being able to clear the ball effectively. Still about, what, 25 minutes remaining? Still a long time. I was beginning to think that maybe Lesotho will try to drop the tempo. Very concerned looks from that bench.
When the stress levels are so high, you don't care about the rain and getting wet. Pull in. Now, early ball forward here. Chase on. Of course, it helps to chase everything here. And I'm trying to force an error that may, of course, see your side find an equalizing goal or a winning goal. If that's what it takes. In these sort of conditions, you never know. A mistake could be just one touch away. That could be crucial.
And we've seen so many of them.
Yep. They're nearly getting it behind that defense.
Handball.
Well, remember, leading up to the end of the last game, just before 5 in the afternoon, there's a rainbow out. Things look to be clearing up. It looked as though we'd have clear weather going into the evening game. And well, here we are a few hours later, and it's bucketing down. And it's only getting stronger, the rain and the wind. Keep in mind, Mozambique are playing against the wind, so it's Lesotho with the wind in their backs with a set piece. When they pick up their pace and come at you at full pace at times, they can be a problem. The likes of Malani, the right back. Tabang Malani plays for LCS. He's the first showing of the tournament. Didn't play in the opening game. Now, ball in. Keeper's done well here. Strong fist to get it clear. Now, Mozambique will look to put together a bit of a counter attack here. They're sort of quick to get numbers back and behind the ball, forcing them backwards rather than forward, which works out perfectly for the men in blue and white. In taking up their shape, again, huge gap between the back four and midfield, William Shongwe. So it was evident a few moments ago.
At the time when they were able to win it back to try and force another, there were numbers which is what made it difficult for Mozambique to come out. But now, the ball ran back to the defensive line. And at the same time, the challenge with that is you start missing on the support going forward. If you are to win the ball and try and play transition football, you will have no support from behind. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, that looks a good ball, good movement. As the Mozambique try and get some numbers forward into the final third. Comfortably done. And getting it clear then. The Lesotho captain, Makepe, another that plays for LMPSFC. Both these sides getting a bit sloppy with it.
The ring is still going. I do feel like the team needs a whole lot more of him, because right now I think their possession football has not been the most effective. And there's one player that has the experience to know when to turn that one on and to try and safeguard that lead that they do have. The more you give away ball position, you're just exposing yourself to what the other team can do.
Well, Mozambique in need of goals, yeah. And just looking at their history, the top over goal scorer at the COSAFA Cup, Tiko Bukwani, with 7 goals he scored at the COSAFA Cups. Same number as Asera for Lesotho. Show too much. Joao working hard in midfield. Then is the man that's fouled.
It was his ball, but he allowed that second touch to run a little bit too far ahead of him.
Biggest win ever for Mozambique in the COSAFA Cup, a 4-0 thrashing of Eswatini back in '97.
In Eswatini.
In Eswatini. Thanks, Willie. Clearly that left a mark.
Of course. When you talk about scoreline, it's still very, very fresh in my mind.
Heaviest defeat for Mozambique, a 4-0 loss at the hands of Zimbabwe back in 2017. Also beaten the likes of Tanzania as a guest team in '97 with a 3-0 scoreline. Big defeats 3-0 to South Africa, 4-0 to Zimbabwe. South Africa beating them 3-0 in 2001, Zimbabwe 4-0 in 2017. Again, we look forward to the day when we can trade blows, and the yellow card is shown here, but I look forward to the day when Southern Africa can once again welcome Zimbabwe back to the COSAFA Cup. Martinho, the man shown the yellow card. Kamsi. Also dangerous. Again, wind in their back strong, This is much closer than the efforts we've seen so far on the day with the wind at their backs. They're sort of looking for goal number 2. Favored for a right-footed strike. Tabansu. Beren, I believe, are the men standing over it. It's Beren. Yep, he was trying.
He went for power instead of trying to get a curl to the ball.
What's the word? Finesse? The word that reminds us of a colleague, I guess. But from this region, Mr. Finesse himself.
Bumbo.
Yeah.
And I know Gavin as well. Some of the words that he would use in order to describe a player that, you know what, he's got it, but he lacks finesse. He lacks quality. He lacks that top line about him.
Knows in the good games. Number would be looking for finesse. Now, chance, yeah, with the movement on the near side. For Tabanchu from Mokhashani. Well, for Lesotho, all they need is one chance, created, converted, and you're wondering if the players from Mozambique have the same belief in them they had for much of the first half.
For me, that first game should give them an idea of the potential of a game like this, where they were led for the most part and bounced back in beautiful style. Might have been the goalkeeper's mistake that held the ball but not properly and let it drop, or in fact it was finished by somebody that applied pressure very hard.
Yeah, I remember now. Today, some could argue, it's the underdog's day. Shot from range then, hoping to catch the keeper off his line. Some may have seen Mozambique as the favourites coming into this game, as others would have seen Angola as the favourites going into the Mauritius game. Mauritius scored first, held on. Lesotho didn't just hold on in this game, they played well, although they were the first to score, and are 15 minutes away from maintaining that 100% win record so far in this year's COSAFA Cup. So Bereng will make way. Spoke of what they have on the bench in what could be a secret weapon here in Lekhono Fotwani. He's waiting to come on here for Bereng and replace.
The legs were missing, the high pressure. This is what you still need. I mentioned, I was actually shocked that he regained control.
Now, time will be a serious factor here. With Malawi, the first side to pick up 6 points yesterday in the group stage of Shongwe. Impressively doing so, having beaten the defending champions, which will make things interesting. With the next side having 3 points, of course being Mauritius. Who would have thought? With Angola and Mozambique, both on 1 point, possibly going into the third round of matches. Who would have thought? And as far as the surprise in this group,
I think for me, more than anything, that's how the dogs and the swing from the high of a win to the drop of the second game. That's the other one that I spotted. The teams that would have won their first game, they were going to be flat in their last or in their next game. Except, of course, for Malawi
and Lesotho.
That is if they don't.
But Billy would have been nation. Near they are stepping. No changes. This time it's Mose coming on here. Danilo. Renzoni is the man on here as well from Mozambique, getting his first showing of the tournament. Coming on with his side way off. Well, the Dihastibus, his name was Excellence, but Excellence was always getting it. Excellence.
No, there was a problem. Or like my penna, the one who always messes up.
Someone would just turn it around to me. I mean, my penna, you've done. Now, there was an appeal earlier. Let's have a look here. Off the hip. Is it? Looks like the hip. Over Malani.
The hand, it's not considered a penalty. There's very little the player can do if the ball deflects. Which I think FIFA got it 100% right.
Yeah, the handball situation was one that was creating endless debates, where many of us from the old school were starting to think, just go back to the old rule where if you just strike the hand, you don't care what the angle and what the scenario, just call it a handball. Because so much was open to interpretation, and that's relative.
Yes, and it was forever an argument, just never ended.
That's a good ball to that far side. Nice take as well here as Mozambique look to use up the time that's left here. Well enough to find an equalizer with the hope that they've got enough time to go look for a winner. Now, in a good area, played in. Lesotho able to clear. The rain has been consistent since the latter stages of the first half here. Hasn't stopped coming down right through the second half. So through the conditions, including the wind. Yeah, both these sides have done a great job of giving us a good game of football, it need be said. In fact, we could go back to the Angola-Mauritius game as well earlier on in the day. Under the conditions, the quality of football we've had today really has been good enough to entertain, and we are having to stay honest right till the very last. Lesotho defensively here and trying to protect their lead. Nice turn.
That's all they need right now, Lesotho, to try and find those moments where they can break the momentum of Mozambique. A foul in their favor, and they've seen another player down now, whether it's cramps or what, but it's great moments in trying to wind the clock down and trying to disrupt what Mozambique seems to be creating now towards the end of the game.
Come do you know what these moments feel like, being a part of a technical team? You come in with a plan, you try and execute that plan, and run into a bit of a brick wall in an opponent.
The only concern for me is for Mozambique in particular. I feel like as much as they're playing, they build-up play. There's something good about it, but the final third has not been functional at all. They're not creating enough. Even if they do, they don't find the back of the net. So it's not too many teams that will give you that many opportunities to find a goal, which Lesotho is doing a bit more, hold on to the ball, a bit of ball position, and that can be very frustrating as well.
So the number of times the Lesotho players have strayed into offside positions is enough to raise an eyebrow as they look to make a change here. Tolwani in for Sipadi. Well, Lesotho again having it in the attacking areas here, and unable to break in behind that defense, so close to breaking that defensive line. It was all too narrow in the end. So it's the turn now of Mozambique to get onto the front foot. Too easily given away. Maka. Now that's a lovely ball. Flag is straight down now. As Lesotho look to clean it up. He's isolated, plays it in with the hope of finding a teammate. Does Mahashani in the end. Mozambique are able to clear their lines. Then the angle was too difficult for him to think about a shot at goal.
And also, I thought he could have maybe had the presence of mind to delay a little bit. And it's that time whereby it's heading towards the end. Maybe take it to the corner and see how long can you hold it there. Because you could see that he was not running to beat the defender. He didn't have the speed to cut across direct towards goal.
William Chong is making his way down to have his time with the post-match interviews with the coaches. We'll see out this match, and so far it looks as though it's Lesotho with the 100% record. Wow, what a ball that turned into be. Acted well enough. Tumelo Maka could have very well sealed it for Lesotho. The ODFC man, Tumelo Maka himself, would wish he was more wise to the opportunity that fell to him. Chance, in fact, a couple of chances now for Lesotho to find that second, put this game to bed, put it beyond Mozambique.
With me.
minutes added on to the end of this game. Lesotho so close for Mozambique. Like Angola earlier, only way to describe it is semi-finalists, and well, not much room for error. It need to be said over 2 matches for those that are to make it through to the semi-finals. Flag up for offside. For the nation of Lesotho, and operating in the business of getting out of the